the head coach of the Texas baseball team. David Pierce joining us this morning. What's going on, Coach?
Hi,
What's
Coach.
going on, BK? It's been a while, Bucky. You guys look good.
No, it's good to see you, Coach. It's good to have an opportunity to spend some time with you. And I know you've been busy and getting everything all straight. How's the off season for you? Did you hit the golf course? You get out there a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. Summer we roll right out of season, and then you're right into recruiting. You're right into camp season. So try to break away a little bit, but see the granddaughters, see the family a little bit, get caught up on domestic affairs, domestic stuff, and then we roll right into a new crop of players. September we start and get after it, and then our real break is really, like people talk about summer breaks. Our summer break really is about the start of Thanksgiving up until the first of the year.
Yeah.
That's our break, and it's good because you're able to have Thanksgiving and Christmas. I don't know how those basketball guys do it. That's a tough time to coach, but yeah, it's good to see you guys.
It's good to see you, Coach. Now, when you have those times off, I know you're always in constant contact with your guys, with your other coaches and stuff. And do you guys still do you still make plans? Do you guys even though, or do you tell those guys just we're getting away from it? I'm going to do this. I don't need to have a phone call. Are you still having little sit downs with them, Zoom meetings with them, just to go over some things that may get into each other's heads during the course of being away from it?
Well, we try to do a little bit of both because everybody needs a little time to just regroup. But it's really recruiting's 365. It just never stops. If we're not on the road or not seeing guys here on campus, we're continuing to look at stuff on film, and we're continuing to talk to coaches throughout the country, talk to scouts, and now we even talk to agents more so than ever before.
That's interesting.
Yeah, just because, and a lot of those guys are former ball players, so you know them, but they're a part of the loop now, part of the support systems of these players. So, yeah, you try to just create relationships so you have good, valid information when you're trying to chase players down. But yeah, we get some time off. Go down to South Texas for a couple of outings. We play a little golf, but you really don't get away from the job at all. The whole key is understanding how to just create some balance in your life then, because there's not much balance once we get back. Like at this time of the year, it's 7 days a week, hopefully for 6 months.
Yeah, and it feels like the season starts earlier every single year, Coach. And I want to ask you about your coaching staff, too. Some reorganization that you did last summer. You're going to take over as the primary pitching coach for this team. You obviously have a lot of experience doing that, but we'd love to get your thoughts on just kind of your role change, and also Troy Tulowitzki coming back to be a part of this program, just some of the staff shakeup that you guys had last offseason.
Yeah, well, I saw this the other day. It makes a lot of sense. It's not about being right, it's about getting it right. And sometimes you got to take some time to really just get it the way you want it. And it may take a year, it may take 6 months. At times we've thrown things against the wall to try to get a player to understand something in a different way, or how you communicate that. Well, it's no different with the staff. We would love to have Troy as a full-time coach, but him in the building as the player, what is his title? The director of player development. He's just such a good resource, bouncing things off of him and being able to visit with the coaches and his experience. So having him in the building every day, and he and I have always tag teamed our mental game, and he's exceptional with that. And what I like about that, like a lot of people have a mental performance coach, and we have a guy that did it at the highest level. That's day to day. He's not coming in for once a month and checking in. I mean, it's on campus every day, so that's huge for us. And then me moving back to pitching, it's crazy how you get labeled as a certain type of coach. I view myself as a baseball guy, not necessarily a hitting guy, not an outfield coach, not a pitching coach. I'm a baseball coach. And when I look at it like that, I've been on both sides of the ball. And it just allows us to give the offense another offensive coach, moving Rod, Caleb, and then bringing Philip back on the field. So now we have 3 everyday guys dealing with our offense. Chris Gordon is our analytics guy and does a lot of exceptional stuff with our pitching. So the combination of Chris behind the scenes with me makes it doable for me to go back to pitching. So a lot of the setup, the day-to-day, all the analytics, Gordo handles, and then it allows me to step in and really coach pitching. And I think you're a better pitching coach when you're with them every day. Like I've been in systems where, the head coach calls the pitches, but the pitching coach does the day-to-day. And for me, being more in the day-to-day allows me to understand our guys, their mental state, as well as, what they can and can't do. And it's been awesome. I was the pitching coach at Rice from 06 and then through Sam Houston State, through Tulane in my first 2 years here. So I'm really comfortable doing it. I like doing it, but I still have the ability with great personnel around me to still be involved in the team. And I don't ever want to be the pitching coach only as the head coach. I want to maintain that title as the head coach and be able to really coordinate the team.
Coach, let me ask you this about strength and development. You know, we watched it with Sark and this football team this year. 3 years into the program, there is no doubt that when we watch the football team play this year, no matter what game it was, strength and development, they were as good as anybody they walked out onto the field with. It didn't matter, and I think you saw that in wins and losses over the last couple of years. Your strength and development. Can you see and notice the difference in your players and different guys? You know, each individual has a program that they're on, but as a team, can you see their strength and development just grow as a group?
Yeah, let me, if you don't mind, I'm going to comment a little bit about what you said with Sark and his program. Man, we're just so proud of what they've done. All of our fall sports just killed it. Jared Elliott's just killing it. He's one of the best, if not the best in the country. But just watching those other teams in the fall and now the success of our winter sports, it just motivates and inspires you to kind of go out and be your best every day. But we have a strength coach named Matt Couch. And what I love about Matt, he's a former pitcher. And so he understands how the arm works in sport specific, position specific, from position player to pitchers. And that's huge. So he's really good at that. And I think, too, you're starting to see just the physicality of the type of player that we're recruiting. And then you put that into our program, and you're seeing the development happen much quicker.
Coach, what has you most excited about your team? We're a week away, of course, from opening day. I'll open things up with a 3-game series against San Diego at home. But what has you most excited about your bunch here in 2024?
I think we have such a good balance of older leaders with young talent, and that balance, and then we've created some depth with that. Pretty fired up about how we're going to utilize some of these guys. But, when you look up and you've got 2 catchers that are both pretty darn good and have some experience, and Kimball Schuessler and Rylan Galvan, it gives you security. And if you don't catch, you don't pitch. And so we got to make sure that battery is good. But the return of Peyton, the development of Jalen Flores, the return of Jack O'Dowd, who is just an exceptional leader and a baseball IQ kid in the middle of the field. And then the versatility of Jared Thomas, where he can play first and then go to center field, and he's been exceptional at both. Then you add Porter Brown back in that mix in left field. And we have a couple of really good freshmen that we look at in Tommy Farmer, Will Gasparino. These guys are physical. They really look the part. They still have a lot to learn, the speed of the game, but there are just so many ingredients there to work with. And then veteran like Cameron Constantine. I mean, this kid's been around. He knows what to do. He's a great clubhouse guy. And then some pieces in the bullpen are coming around. It's probably one of the first years that I knew, kind of going into the spring, who the three starters were going to be. When you look at LeBaron Johnson, Charlie Hurley, and then the return of Tanner Witt. So the pieces are there. We just got to go play and not get too caught up in big picture and be good enough to play every day.
You know, you can't do anything about guys that aren't there. But coach, you've lost some key guys. You lost some key leadership guys that were just more than leadership. And when you talk about leadership and players that have been around your program, but the loss of some of the people, I mean, you're losing a shortstop, an outfielder, a second baseman. Those things it's just the reality of it. And people have to step in and be ready to play at this level. But boy, that leadership, that's hard to come by. And when you say you have guys that have been around the program that have to step up, they may not step up on the field, but the things that they have to do to keep your team together when things get a little rough, because things will get a little rough. You know that. It always happens. But to have that kind of leadership around, because you're losing a lot of leadership players.
Yeah, you've been in that locker room. You know, when it's clubhouse driven and we can facilitate and give them the resources and structure, but they kind of understand the pulse of the team, the pulse of the clubhouse, and they have really good timing of when to pick up a young guy or when to kind of realize that the team's kind of going through the motions. That's critical. And if we can just really like bring our mental game every single day, and I think that's such a challenge in baseball. Can we do that every single day? Huge. When you talk about losing a Dylan Campbell and an Eric Kennedy, that are big, just staples of our leadership and abilities in the lineup every day, that's where young players have to step up. You know, we just had our alumni game last weekend. I didn't know if we could get that lineup out. And you look at some of those guys that are just knocking on the door of the big leagues. David Hamilton was in the big leagues last year, Cody Clemens. And you look at, you know, all those guys coming back. Like I've texted every one of them to tell them how important it is for them to continue to give back to this program just by their presence. And our young players see that. So it's this revolving door of really talented players that have opportunity to go play, but then continue to come back in their off seasons. It just creates that culture that you're looking for.
Coach, the dreaded two-part question here. Look, I'm sure your goal every year is to win the conference that you're in, but any extra motivation with this being the last year of the Big 12 to find a conference title on your way out the door? And also, how excited are you guys to make the move to the SEC after this year?
Yeah, well, CDC's put a lot of pressure on us to win the league for every sport going out, but I don't think we look at it any different. That's one of the first championships we have opportunity to win. When you look at our sport, we look at having opportunity to play for 5 championships: the regular season, the tournament, the regional, super regional, and the national championship. And that's what I came here for. I mean, it's been going on 8 years, but 7 will be the 7th season. We came here to win championships. And so the national championship is what our ultimate goal is every single year. We really don't even recognize, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but we don't really recognize a conference championship as much as maybe some other sports, because you don't have to win the conference championship to win the national championship in baseball. It's an opportunity to play and win a championship. So we're going to do everything we can to win it. But we have a kind of a bigger goal when you look at the big picture from our perspective.
Coach, what will we see from Tanner Witt now that he's back? And obviously he's got, I mean, you can say full strength, but until you get out there in the competition once again, what will be different about him than we saw last year? He tried his best. I thought he worked very hard, and you know how hard he had to work to come back from that surgery. But what do you see in him already so far this year?
Well, let's go back to last spring, where I don't know if he was really ready physically, but he wanted the ball.
Right.
And what I loved about that is his teammates were behind him, which tells you that he's a great teammate. He went into the summer probably trying to tweak, trying to find some reasoning of why he hadn't been as good as he felt like he should be at that point. So we shut him down this fall from competition, and our entire goal has been to get his body moving the way it needs to move and get his arm in the best shape it can be in. And I think you look at his stature and everybody thinks he's just a huge power guy.
Yeah.
He really can pitch. I mean, he's a 4-pitch mixed guy. I mean, but the biggest thing he's probably added is the consistency of the slider. The velocity has been good, but it hasn't been great. And I think that's what everybody's waiting on, is that next jump in velocity. He's been probably 90, touching a 93, which is on course, but he's never really been over 94. So I like where he is, but the ability to understand how to pitch, even though he looks like a big power guy, he's pretty good 4-pitch mix guy that I think he can trust all of his pitches.
Texas baseball head coach David Pierce with us now. Coach, last thing from me, the new fan area in left center field. I kind of want to get your thoughts on that, right? Everyone knows about the Occupy Left Field folk, and we'll actually be doing a pregame show next Friday for opening day out there. We're excited about it. But, man, you look at some of these SEC ballparks and some of the crazy fan bases they have out there. You see fans in the outfield at just about all of their stadiums. You know, your thoughts on the improved fan experience coming to the Dish this season?
I apologize because I didn't even answer your 2-part, the SEC. It's just so hard for us right now to get there just because we're competing next week in the Big 12.
Sure.
But, you know, from my perspective, I'm having to do some double duties in meetings. We've gone to I had to go to Birmingham, some Zoom calls. So behind the scenes, we're prepping, but at the same time, we're getting ready for the Big 12. Yeah, I mean, we've been saying it for a long time. There's so many things I think that can be somewhat plastic in college baseball, where here's the stadium, here's the field, hopefully the fans come. The more fan experience we give, my goal is to have a fan come to a game. We put a great product on the field. Whether we win or lose, that fan experience tells that group, I want to go back. I can't wait to get back to the ballpark. And so adding some kid-friendly stuff, adding some different areas throughout the park. I think also you're going to see us adding capacity, where we're going to have to improve our capacity, which is an awesome thing. We've shattered the attendance record the last 2 years, and I'm telling you, it's so good. Now you look at Yeti stepping up. It's going to be called the Yeti Yard. It's left field. It's ground level. We open that side of the fence. That's a cool feature. You've got the Gus Pavilion that has really turned into a little more permanent versus just in the postseason. And then just taking care of the fans when they come in, making sure that the concessions are right, making sure that the lines aren't too long and we can control some of that. The coffee's hot. Everything is kind of viewed as very professional. And if we can do that, then it's my job for us to have a great product on the field. And so we have a great team. It's not just the baseball department. It's our marketing. It's, you know, our media. Everything is intact right now. And people feel like that they're a huge part of the success of our program. And then that's really what we're looking for and striving for. And they're doing a great job. So we're looking forward to just a great fan experience week in and week out.
It's well said. Any more, Buck?
No, I'm good. I can't wait till next week. I can't wait to get out there and do some games and some pregame shows and have some fun.
Yeah,
Who you
Coach.
got? Super Bowl. Who we got?
I got Kansas City.
I'm on the Niners. What about you, Coach?
Well, I have two nephews that work for the Niners, but it's hard to root against Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yeah, it's kind of hard against that guy. Yeah, that's tough.
I definitely picked KC over Buffalo and throughout just because of that guy. He's incredible. But I got to root for the Niners.
There you go.
Family ties. Well, Coach, it's great to see you. Best of luck this season. Hopefully we get the chance to do this again this year. But thanks so much for the time, and we'll see you soon.
Good luck, Coach.
Guys, thank you.
Good to see you.